Finally, so much has happened, and it's only been a week and a half. I can't believe it. Holy cow, guys. Hey, good morning, Marianas. It is Thursday. Thursday. January, almost July, apparently, because that's how it feels like. January 30th. And we are having a great morning so far. It's 7:34, and we've got a beautiful day lined up today. And one heck of a show, because we have a million things to talk about. No kidding. And we got a special guest in here. We're going to start talking about all kinds of stuff. And right now, though, it's 79 degrees outside. It's a little humid, though. We got a little rain last night that kind of humided things up a little bit. Dare I say, moist? Anyway, it's 89% humidity up there at the Saipan International Airport. And we have a rip current statement in effect and a high surf advisory in effect until February 2nd at 4 p.m. So that is going to be for the next few days, guys. That's right. It's going to run you right through the weekend. High surf advisory, rip current statement until February 2nd. So if you're going out there on the water, be careful. Especially if you're on those east-facing exposures. Man, that stuff can suck you out. They should... They should call them Garapan lady currents. That's great. Hey, today we're looking at isolated showers throughout today, so that means a little sprinkle here and there. Partly sunny skies, high near 86. Winds out of the east 15 to 20 miles per hour, but it is gusty out there. We got gusts as high as 23, and it's going to be just like this tonight. Good thing, though, last night, the rain did not come down until after the end of the ball game, and what a game it was. Dodgers and Brewers going back and forth. Ends up being a 17-12 affair in favor of the Brew Crew. Means the Blue Jays are tied with the Dodgers. Ole, ciao! I know, right? So it is one heck of a thing if we're talking about local baseball. Now, you might notice the camera angle's a little different today. It is. Because the guest cam's going to be the same, but our main camera's going to be just us. And I don't have the traffic cam out there this morning either. Why? Well, I'll tell you all about it. We had the show last night, or yesterday, with NM Posse and the whole studio in the back. But tonight at 6 p.m., Marianas Business Network, we're going to have the very first MBN show here. It's called SIP Happens, and we're going to have folks from local business community and to talk about what's going on in the world of business. And they're going to do it while having a couple of drinks. I've already heard about some of the stuff that's coming in here. So 6 p.m. tonight. There's no baseball anyway. So you're going to be able to check this out. It should be interesting. See what happens when these guys get together. I already know what some of the drinks are. And I wonder how loose they're going to get as the conversations go on. I hope they don't eat dinner and they just have a few drinks, just so it becomes really spicy in here. I like it. Now, I won't be on it. You might randomly hear me on there a couple times, but really, that's not going to be for me. I'm just producing the show, just like we did for the good folks over at NM Posse. And, hey, that's great. You know what? I'll tell you what. We have a special guest coming in studio today. We're going to hear about the roads that are happening because the Secretary of Public Works is coming in. That's right. Ray Umel is going to join us. Now, we're also expecting that he might have an engineer or two with him, so we'll see how that works out today as well. I know he's on the way. In fact, it was funny because he was close. He just thought the studio was at the new plaza that's over there on the other side of National Office. He's like, hey, which one are you at? And I'm like, nope, see the building. Got to get down here. Check us out. All right. I do want to talk about this, though, because this is pretty impactful stuff that's happening. Oh, geez. Hold on. We got the call. 1 second. I'm going to mute you guys just for a second. That's the secretary now. He's actually, hey, you said third floor, Sita? Oh, and he's just walking in at the moment. I'll tell you what, though, I know we're going to get to a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about all these different things that have been happening and funding things that were happening. I'm going to throw a real quick commercial I know it's early. No. I'm just going to do a real quick commercial to get them all set up with the camera and the mic, and we'll be back after this. So don't go anywhere. I know it's an early commercial for you guys, but hey, trust me, it's worth it. All right, so we'll be right back.
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. Probably is not great to be down 3-0.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Ocean.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who can handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, it's just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E. Paradise Dental's giving you the gas. Well, not that kind of gas. You already know that Paradise Dental has the most affordable coverage in the entire Marianas, and now we've got something special just for new customers. And now for a limited time, Paradise Dental is offering free gas vouchers for new signups for their coverage plan. If you sign up for a singles plan, you'll get a $10 gas voucher. If you sign up for a couples plan, that's a $15 gas voucher. And if you sign up for the whole family plan, that's a $20 gas voucher right after your first visit. So hurry down to Paradise Dental and sign up for the CNMI's most affordable dental coverage today. These gas vouchers are limited, and with smiles like these, you know they're gonna go fast.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
My name is Kelly. I've never been good at giving up. And that's okay, because I have big plans. This might sound crazy right now, but someday, I will be the captain of my own ship.
It's the captain.
Attention on deck.
I'll steer through new waters. And I'll stand up to the biggest storms. Me and my crew will fight back against the toughest enemies. I'll lead the sailors on my ship my way. And together, we will always do what is right. I'll show the world any girl can be a captain. I'll show them that I am enough. No matter what comes my way, I'll stay the course. Because history won't remember those who took the easy way out. My name is Kelly, and it means determination. Any girl can be a captain.
All right, Marianas. We are back at 7:47 a.m. and we are having a great day because we're finally all set up. I know, but I'll tell you, between getting the right mix of coffee and getting everybody set up, and again, we got a different setup today. We got most of the stuff in the back for the Sip Happens broadcast that's going to happen tonight at 6 o'clock. So I'm a little all over the place, but so that's kind of how we are normally here anyway. But great morning today, 7:48 in the morning, and we have somebody in studio that's going to be a big hit with you guys because I know you're going to want to know what's happening out here. There's so many projects that are happening throughout the Marianas, and you might as well hear it right from the source. And we've got our Secretary of the Department of Public Works, Secretary Ray Umel, in studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Brad.
Thanks for being here. This is really great to have you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, so man, we could talk about all kinds of things with you. You got a million projects going on. I don't know how you manage it. I don't know how it's possible, but you've got, and it's not just Saipan. You got Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda. And,
Correct.
And it's infrastructure that's critical for the CNMI, all the way down to like some business stuff too. So I don't even know where to begin. But welcome to being in here and. Wow, I'll tell you what. I know we'd love to hear about the roads, but let's ask you. Let's start with this. You've been in the spot for a little while. How do you feel about running Public Works now?
Well, thank you for asking that question. Of course, the department is huge in terms of the types of public services and the management of certain aspects of the process of getting permits for building, for example, construction activities. So it's vast. We on the north end of the spectrum, we have solid waste that we manage, which is the landfill, the transfer station, and then we have Rhode Antonian's operations down there that we're moving to bring up to par with U.S. EPA standards. So we're trying to get their landfills into compliance, for
Right.
example. And then we also cover building code, which is a big thing. Any type of construction activity, building code is involved, especially on vertical construction, anything that goes up. Then we have federal highway funds coming to us from the U.S. Department of Transportation to manage our highways. And the road construction, for example, that's what I guess we're going to be talking about mostly. We also have the energy office, which handles energy grants, programs of that sort. We can talk about that as well. And then we have technical services. It's a branch, not correction on the branch. It's a division within the department that helps the government agencies, departments that need assistance in technical services. They want to modify their offices. They want to construct extensions and the like. We can assist in the A&E, the design, for example, and engineering. We have a small team for that. Okay, and then of course administrative services, which covers everything else. Right of way, for example, it's another hot topic.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Especially, I imagine, well, with the Garapan Revitalization Project, the right of way was like the main thing, right?
Yes, it was a challenge, but we managed to make things work. The businesses in the Garapan Revitalization project, for example, the area, we worked with many of them as best we could. Unfortunately, the right-of-way is one critical aspect that this project needed to have clearance in terms of unobstruction from encroachments. So we have to take care of that so that we can have sidewalks installed so that it becomes more walkable.
I heard there were a lot of encroachments or people going right up to the encroached line.
Right, and that's the biggest concern from the businesses is the loss of parking, and we worked with everyone as best we could, and I think in the long run it will work out.
Well, it looks good. I mean, Garapan's coming along, I guess. So I know that's a real OPD thing, right? Do you guys work with them for these kind of projects?
Yes, because it's that project was very comprehensive and detailed. It only made sense that OPD stepped in and say, "Hey, we can handle this for us." And
Nice.
say, "Yeah, please do so." So that's what took place, and we're near completion.
Well, speaking of near completion, I know we spoke with a couple of engineers a bit ago, and then they said that maybe February we're looking at maybe March for the Beach Road project. We could talk about so Beach Road is a big deal. We talk about it all the time when we're on the show and when we're monitoring traffic and from well, I mean, it really all the way Garapan, all the way down to Chalumpiao, but like. I didn't think that the everything north of the old AK intersection over here was as pressing as like where everybody is over here. It seems like there's a lot more commerce, a lot more traffic with the schools and all that stuff. It's got to be a heck of a thing. I imagine your phone has rang maybe once or twice throughout the whole project.
Oh, of course it did. I've been fielding calls. My staff has been fielding calls. The bi-weekly cabinet meeting, it's always up for discussion. It is a hot topic because it does affect the community, the driving public, and of course commerce. You know, so we are aware of the fact that we need to get this road completed, but at the same time we ask the public's patience, because it is a huge engineering challenge, because unlike constructing vertically, once we clear the land, for example, we dig down and we start working the foundation, right? Once that's cleared, everything else is easy to work on it, because it goes vertically. But in a horizontal construction such as the roadways, every time the contractor digs new areas, right, they would uncover things that we thought weren't there, right? We find network lines from telecom companies. We've found sewer lines that we thought wasn't there. We found water lines crisscrossing all over the place. So those had to be taken care of, because we don't want to disrupt. We had to make adjustments for that. So those adds to the delay of the project.
You know, that's something we, when I was with CUC in like Sodelure times, a long time ago now, right? But when we were trying to isolate the water lines to try to make pressure and pack the lines, when we were trying to restore water services, we found so many lines that we didn't think were in existence anymore, like old lines that were still being fed water from the reservoirs and all that stuff. So it was kind of like a big savior that we found out where those things were, so we could cut and cap and all that. And if you're still that makes sense if you're still finding sewer lines that you didn't even think were there anymore and all that stuff.
Right. I mean, we've even found infrastructure that dates back to the naval times, using cinder blocks as the main forms of the structured below, for example, the manholes. Those needed to be upgraded, of course. We found clay pipes that we had to remove and replace with PVC, HPD, the higher grade plastic, so that these systems will last, into the next 20, 30 years, right? Because if we don't fix it, we don't want the utility companies to come back in and start cutting up the roads. As much as possible, we try to move these infrastructure pieces along to the side, but in some areas, especially in the Susupi, Chalancanoa area, because it's more of a old town, and the right-of-way is not as wide. Those things were not available to us. We had to make choices where we have to just repair it in place and then asphalt and move on.
Maybe could you walk me through a little bit, because my brain is too small to figure it out. So like I think some of it's pretty like it seems like it would be logical to me that for like when they're doing the project on the road, because it's not you guys, you contract out, right?
Yes.
So GPPC is the main contractor for this beach road.
Correct.
Right. So I would think that you would start where you can and move where you can to kind of keep going all the way down the road. But this is an interesting project because it's also drainage, right? It's not just redoing the road. It's sidewalks, it's drainage, and redoing the whole surface all the way, scooping it up and starting from the bottom and making your way up, right?
Right. I mean, just to put things into context, the beach road, the last major construction activity that basically upgraded the roadway was more than 30 years ago. So when we started this project to do the upgrades, of course, there were a lot of things that we wanted to add in. You see the sidewalks that have been constructed. Once the contractors starts laying the striping, we're going to have a bicycle lane as well. So it'll assist in public mobility, especially non-gasoline, non-heavy equipment powered, trucks and whatnot. So we want the community to start using the pathway, the streets for commerce. We don't want to congest the road, so we took that approach to try to make it more walkable and more user friendly. And by doing so, we're able to now bring this section of road up to kind of like the current standard of how a community should develop itself, right? So we're happy about that.
Well, it's gonna be great. I know when it's done, it's gonna be amazing. Like, I'm excited about it. But again, the simple stuff like here, like just north of us, I mean, you can almost see it from outside on the deck, where you can see where they've got that top coat, and then it stops there, right? So that's where I'm like, if all this has been sitting here for like at least a couple of months, like I wonder why they haven't been able to throw that top coat through here and start doing that stuff.
So during the phases, of course, we have our engineers, DPW's engineers, the construction management team, GPPC, the contractor, come together to decide the plan of action, how to begin the road work. And of course, every contractor would love to just start ripping everything out and doing the civil works. But we were cognizant of the driving community. We don't want to overburden them. And because of that, we had to adjust time schedules to kind of work and coincide with traffic, right? Contractors started working late at night. Of course, weather was a huge factor in the onset. We had to work with the contractor because if there's a weather delay, of course they're going to ask for time extensions. So we accommodated them. Contractor also had some equipment failures that we had to work with, and that basically resulted in some delays in the asphalting and the layering of the work. And to top that off, we're required under federal regulation through the rules that we follow, the engineering requirements, right? We had to have everything tested. That's the most important key, because without proper testing, we don't know if the construction met federal standards. We want to make sure that this new road upgrade will last 30 years. And in order for that to happen, we have to follow these tight regulations, right, in terms of that. So contractor, if you haven't noticed, some sections where asphalting was laid and then it was ripped out.
Yeah, I saw
and then
that
it
they're
was
just
relaid.
pulling out that middle section down the road.
Okay, so that one's gonna, we will begin the installation of the island, because there was an island in the past. That's for the entryway into MHS. So that's being constructed right now. Right now, those are the final touches, you would say. Contractor basically has 2 more months to finish everything, and we're working with them, but deadline is a deadline. It's kind of like a final deadline. So we hope that they complete it on time, but if not, there are contractual obligations that, we're going to basically say, hey, contract says you have to complete it by this date. I'm sorry if you don't do that. Potentially, it'll open up the contractor to liquidated damages. We don't want to do that, but we will work with them as best we can, but we're not going to keep delaying this project if the delay is caused by something that's beyond the contractor's control.
Do you think that they're overextended on this thing? I mean, is that a fair question? Because just seeing how long it's taken them, again, I know the weather is a big deal, right? And we're going to talk about the good stuff you guys are doing. You guys are doing good stuff. But just thinking about this, like right now we look outside, this road has looked like this without the top coat going on, and there's not a single person in sight, right? There's some people who they got some concrete guys working on the curbs,
right,
and then they've got some people who are working like on the pavement on the smaller side, like the asphalt, and then, but I think the other guys, the final coat guys, they're Hawaiian Rock, right?
Those GPPC.
All the way?
Yeah, all the way. Okay. They're a vertical company, so they have everything in house.
Oh, so they're perfect for that job, you would think, right? So
right.
So I would wonder if they aren't just overextended with the amount of people that they have, because again, they're still moving through Chaumpiao and CK, they haven't finished here, and then I see them doing like single lane stuff on Beach Road up north, but really like the center of like where commerce is with, like you've got the schools, you got Joten, you've got the hotels and everything in that whole area, the courthouse, like that part you would think would have been a priority for them then, right? But again, that's them, right? I mean, they're the ones who are plowing ahead with the project, and it just a layman's thing. I'm not an expert like you guys, you know. That's just the point of view. Is like it seems like here, it's like the Beach Road project is like it would be like my home improvement projects where I get so far with one of those projects, I'm like, oh, let me start on this one now too, and let me start on this one now too, and I got a bunch of unfinished ones.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where I had to interject and say, hey, this is a little bit unusual. You know, I don't want to say use a harsher tone. I would say, look, I tell my engineers, get in there, have them clean this stuff up. They need to clean up as they go along. Do not allow them to start ripping up the roadway if, for example, the required materials is not on island, ready to be installed. For example, like the piping for the drainage system, and some relocation of some, for example, water lines, fire hydrants that we had to make adjustments for. You know, the things of that sort. I said, look, if they're not ready to do that portion of work, then don't have them touch it. Move on to other areas, but make sure that when they do start ripping up the road, that they do it in an expeditious manner so that it can be covered. We actually ran into some issues. Number one being the archaeological aspect. We are required to have an archaeologist on hand. We did discover a couple of remnants from the war, some bones that was discovered. Of course, HPO got involved, and those were all done in accordance with the regulations. But we had an issue where we had a gap. The contractor couldn't source archaeologists. So we were forced to work with DCCA. HPO came to the rescue and was able to help us with an archaeologist. So the digging continued. So it was sporadic. We had some hiccups, but again, we developed workarounds. Of course, it added to some delay, not at the fault of the contractor. So we had to work with that. That's one of the aspects of why why the project was delayed. Even the asphalting plant, the contractor had a couple of technical issues, because when you're batching asphalt, it's good that you talked about the final layer. That final layer is called the anti-skid. So that final layer, once the contractor's batching the anti-skid, they don't batch for asphalt. Two different types of mixes and formulas. So it's either one or the other, right? So just to give you a little crash course in building roads, right? When you dig down, the first thing you're gonna find is what is termed the subcourse. Subcourse is basically the natural earth, right? Whether it's clay, whether it's sand, or a combination thereof, that's the subcourse. So that gets worked on. Then we put on subbase, pack that down, right? That'll be about maybe 8 inches or so, and then another base course, another 8 inches, packing that down, doing tests. Then afterwards, we lay a thin coat of it's called SS1. It's like a binder for the asphalting phase. So asphalt comes in about 3 inches to 4 inches in thickness, and then the anti-skid. So it's layered, right? So all of those takes time. You can't just start building a sandwich, however you please it. There is a system to that. So
that's great info. I mean, like that's really good stuff for people to know that that's one of the reasons why they can't do it and everything at the same time, because you can't batch those two unless they have a couple of different types of things to put out there, like two separate plants.
Right.
But that's a big deal. So.
Right, and then as you know, Beach Road is a long stretch, so we've actually split the work up where in terms of the complexity of the road paving, the road construction, phase 2, which is AK intersection, the former AK Toyota, south to Gold Ribbon, where the mobile in Talampio is at.
Yeah.
That's phase 2. So we took that under DPW to basically manage. Then phase 3 and 4, NMHC's CDBG program manages that for us, because the funding source for that is through HUD and the CDBG disaster grant. We were very fortunate that HUD approved the government's request to use disaster grant money to help restore the top layer of Beach Road north of AK. Unfortunately, the grant did not allow for deeper civil works, like to install drainages or sidewalks. It's basically just to do a top coat because of the damages that the road sustained because of the last typhoon. So that's why it's you're going to see a difference in the complexity of the work. And of course, you're not going to see sidewalks up north, but it will have a top layer. So the GPPC has both contracts, right? So it is in totality a really tough project for them. But again, we're just following the terms of the contract. We expect them to adhere to it, and we'll work with them. But of course, if deadlines pass and they're still behind, then we'll just go to the contract and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, but you have to start wrapping things up."
Well, they were under the gun too, so they've got both of those projects. Plus, they were doing speaking of the AK
Right.
building too. So, if they were late for everybody, they're losing out. And I know they had delays for that too. But that's it. But we got other road stuff. By the way, I was going through the website, and I've got it on now. That's your website. Is that still happening? Is that roundabout over there by AMP?
Yes. So that's a separate project. Funding source was identified through federal funds, and it went out to bid, I believe, about a week and a half ago. So it's out to bid. The reason why we chose the roundabout as the intersection of choice instead of putting up, for example, the question of why didn't you just put up another traffic light system? The thing here is that traffic lights, believe it or not, it actually costs over $1 million to install. It's not cheap. Wow. And then on top of that, there are maintenance costs that we have to shoulder at the state level. And we took this approach because after storms, usually what happens, right? The power is out. Some of the traffic light systems, the posts can be damaged and rendered unusable. Then we have a problem with controlling traffic. We have to ask DPS to help us, for example, manage traffic while we attempt to fix the street lights, traffic lights. Now with a roundabout, if God forbid, a typhoon were to roll over us and roundabout is already operational, if there's any debris, right, all we got to do is just move it off to the side and the road is back in operation.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
Well, I've been down at that intersection a million times. I remember there used to not be anything, not even a stop sign, right?
Right.
So, and I'm like, hey, when I was all resistant to change when I first got there. I'm like, I'm not going to stop at that stop. Oh, yeah, well, anyway. But then I'm like, oh, I have to, so I do. But if that was a roundabout, I think things would go a lot smoother, a lot faster in that spot. It's a good spot for it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it was chosen. Now, we are also attempting to finish up our design work. Not really attempting. It's just a process. It's always a process. But our goal is to also install a roundabout up by the airport, or that four-way intersection.
Oh yeah, by the where the bunkers are and everything, or
Right, where the CPA sign says adios.
Yes,
come again,
yes.
right, and welcome. So that is our next goal for a second roundabout. Once we finalize that, hopefully not too distant from now, within this year, we should be able to have A&E ready to go. And once we've re-verified the funding source, as you know, Trump kind of signed multiple executive orders that kind of threw the whole country into state of confusion. So we're working through that to make sure that these funding sources are still intact, and then we will push that out.
Well, we just got that one memo today that says that it was rescinded. That OMB that was rescinded. We got that early this morning. It says that memorandum M2513 is rescinded. If you have any questions implementing the president's executive orders, please contact your general counsel. So, it's something new every day.
Yes, that's true. But we did receive one unfortunate news. The executive order that President Biden signed a few years ago, Executive Order 14008, which actually established kind of like the climate pollution control to help states and territories such as us develop climate reducing impacts, right? To take the technologies, solar, Energy Star appliances, and those. So we're looking at that because, with the rescission of that executive order, it affected our energy grants that we received through OIA, and OIA. Runs the Justice 40 initiative, which was created through that executive order, and a couple of items in there is the capital improvement project grants that we will receive through OIA, so that potentially is impacted. Our technical assistance program grants, we did receive notice of an award through this grant, but that now is in jeopardy. So we're analyzing the impacts, and I'll probably come around again and just give a brief to the community so we know what's going on. More on that later.
Yeah, I know I can't keep you all day, and I know you can't get to absolutely everything. But let's talk about you have another. I'll ask you about the other ones, but this is one I know a little bit about that because I got excited about it when you guys put it out. Tapa Chow might not be like, you might not need a 4x4 anymore.
Yes, that's correct. We're finally moving ahead. The bidding for the bidding materials, I should say, for the Montepacho Road project is out. We did receive a lot of calls from contractors wanting the scope of work so that they can start working on their bids. So the project entails about 13,000 feet of roadway, and this will include drainages, a couple ponding basins to control runoff water. It begins where the pavement ends by the old EMO office up in Capitol Hill at the base of the road going up to Montepacho, and it terminates up at the peak. So that's the main project. For Montepacho Road. We also have a small section from where Chalangalaidi meets Montepacho Road. We're going to come down about 1,300 feet.
Wow.
We're going to fix that because that's the steepest part of Chalangalaidi.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the Chalangalaidi Road itself is still problematic for not just DPW, but Department of Public Lands. We're still trying to work jointly to work with the families that own properties along Chalangalaidi to see if we can have them come in and sign agreements for them to give up portions of their land so we can pave the road. But of course, we want to make sure that they're happy with compensation. We will not touch any roads unless the families have been fully compensated.
Well, I know that happens, and you've only been there for a little while, a couple of years, right? So it's not, you don't have to go all the way back. We had that one guy in San Vicente the other day.
Yeah, the Ogo family, and I did look into that matter, and we do have a solution for that. And I would just like to say that the family, the heirs of, I believe it's Marciano, Ogo, they need to get together as a family and have an administrator appointed so that they come and meet with DPO and DPW so that we can make sure that they are compensated. There were agreements signed in the past going back to the times of former Governor Pete Tenorio.
Wow.
Pete. So the families did agree, and the then governor did accept that the property will be taken for right of way. Unfortunately, it wasn't completed for. I'm not sure what the real reason was, but I do understand that the families need to come in and probate it so that we can take care of compensating them.
Well, that'll be great. They'll be really happy to hear that, I'm sure. And they seem like real reasonable folks, and that they
Yes.
they just want to get that over and done with. And I'm sure you guys do too. So that's pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely. We want to take care of them. They did come, like I said, years back. The family did come forth and agreed to giving up a portion of the property. So we need to finish that and adjudicate that.
Well, great. So Tapachow might be amazing. That Chalungaliti part, 1,300 feet is a pretty long distance. And that is the worst part, because I know the part where it meets the Tapachow Road is the worst. When the runoff comes through, you can see exposed pipes and everything. Those things get cracked. Tourists, forget it. They think they can make it in their convertible Mustang at that Chalungaliti Road, and
Right.
the answer is no.
Yeah, so we will take care of that. A little bit of a side on that matters that one of the lessons learned with the Beach Road project and the Route 302, which is the NAFTA and the backside, because of the disagreements, I guess you could say, between the mayor, R.B. Camacho, and the Secretary of Public Lands, Terry Santos, I took it upon myself to just step in and mitigate the issue and say, look, he needs aggregate. We have the contractor removing the underlayment of the original paving. Some of that material, in fact, a lot of the material is actually reusable. So I made that available. The mayor, we basically gave the mayor over 5,000 cubic yards of rotomill. This is basically the old asphalt that had been grounded down into small pebbles and quarter-inch size and whatnot. So I took care of that so that he can continue to assist the community with road repairs and the secondary roads. So that's something that will also extend over with the Montepocho Road project. I will set aside the aggregate that will be removed from the existing site as they lay new material for the new road. That will be made available. I did receive some requests, a few of them, for right-of-way openings within the Montepocho area. So we're working with those requests as well so that we can open up the roads because the way we feel, if we allow and we are able to make these road openings, right, that will actually spool up local economic growth, right? Because families will be able to go in, develop their properties, they can start improving it, right, and that adds to economic growth. So we're working to make that happen.
Well, that Tapachow Road, I think, is going to be really exciting because so many people go up and down there, especially for the people who live in that area.
Right.
Maybe at the top, those are some people who can afford some pretty nice cars. But the people like living up along the way there, regular everyday kind of folks, that road is a little bit more challenging, and that's going to be great. Oh, there was a recent improvement up there though about like the worst part of that road, at least what I would think is like the worst part, like midway up, maybe a quarter mile up the road from where the pavement ends. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys did something to make that road better. I don't know what was put down there. It's not concrete, right? It's something.
Yeah, we've had the A&E designer on record look into that to see if it can be incorporated. I don't have the details to that, so either that will be maintained or improved upon, or it may just be removed. It all depends on the engineers and their assessments. They're going to go in and they'll be taking core samples and the like, so they'll make that determination.
Oh yeah, they'll probably tear all that out. I'm guessing just to put
Yeah.
in, but at least that you guys did something to make a real improvement in the meantime. That's like that. For years and years and years, there was nothing, right? But
Right.
but you guys got something there that's in place that at least is like, well, that's not going to wash away. So that's
Right.
great.
Yes, and yeah, those are all those bandage approach methodology that now we're just gonna finish this road project because it's not just going to be a benefit to the driving community, the residents in that area. It's gonna also pick up tourism, right? Because tourists love to go up to the peak and see the sights. National defense, believe it or not, because we have communication equipment up there, Department of Public Safety, the fire department, Homeland, right? The telecom companies,
Yeah.
right? So even the media, radio stations. So it is a very important road. It's vital to the stability of the government and also like I said about defense.
That's a great part. I forgot about that. So I if I remember correctly, so when I was with DOD as a civilian, we were looking at, I think it's DAR, right? DAR Projects, Defense Access Roads. And that's where we identified that project along the Peace Park made sense, because when we had the big typhoon in 2018, when Super Typhoon U2 came through, we had everybody came in. They had the landing craft came in, and the trucks rolled off of there, and that was the road that they used
Right.
to get back and forth. So it was already demonstrated that it was a necessary project. But like you just mentioned, because of the communications and everything, it seems like that's a logical fit for a defense access road funding to be able to get that kind of stuff up there to the top of the mountain.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. You hit it on the nail.
Hey, I know I'm going to let you go here in just a bit. You served. Can you tell us about your time in the service and everything a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you for your service as well. But I did join the Army. Actually, when I finished college, got my degree, and started wrapping up life in stateside. On my move back here, I wanted to, at least bucket list, right? I wanted to join the military. I didn't want to go active duty, so I decided to join the Army Reserve here. Great unit. I love the camaraderie. It's so family. I mean, I'm happy about that. I always encourage the youths that are graduating that if they have no plans to go off to college, they want to stay here, live and work, to encourage them to join the military. I hope that, for example, we'll have Air Force reserves here. I know Guam Guard is recruiting here, and a great benefit is that they'll actually fly you to Guam for your monthly drills. So,
Can't beat it.
Can't beat that. And the insurance is there for medical and life, dental. Great way to serve our country. I'm proud of that fact, and I have no regrets as to my time in service.
I remember seeing the guys getting ready to do their monthlies or their ATs, and that's annual training for you guys. But,
Right.
But they would go to Guam, and they would bring all their gear, and then they would also bring some empty stuff because they knew that they were going to fill that stuff up shopping on their way back.
Yeah. I mean, those are the side perks, right? While you're out on training, you get a little R&R, a little rest and relaxation for those that don't know what that means, and then bring back the goodies for the families, right? For the kids, the wife, husband for the female members in the military. So yeah, it's a worthwhile experience. My son, my second oldest, Daniel, actually enlisted in the United States Air Force.
Wow.
So he's scheduled to fly off for basic training in Texas, and then get trained up, and we'll be spending at least 4 years in the Air Force. So I'm proud of him for that.
That's great. I told my kids when they were talking about joining the service, I'm like, hey, I was in the Army infantry, and that was great for me. You guys should join the Air Force.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about it.
Right, of course. I mean, strive for the highest ASVAB score, so that all the job opportunities gets opened up and offered, so that when you do one would decide to leave uniform, they'll have an easy transition to private sector jobs, and live a comfortable life going forward afterwards, right?
Well, let me ask you this one too. Since you had that experience, your son is going now, and he's going off to basic and everything. But you had the experience of getting your degree first and going and doing it.
Right.
What if? I think it's a different experience for everybody, and it's individual based on where you're at and what you want to do. But would you have a recommendation for folks? Do you think that they should try to get their degree first, or should they just go in first and try to get their degree with the benefits? You have any thoughts?
Yeah, it's obviously going to be different for every person. It's not a one size fits all strategy. There are those that want to just enlist, and then when the VA benefits, take it back. When the military benefits kicks in, right? They can attend college. They can get an AA as they're serving, right? They can get a bachelor's as they're serving. They can even, upon conference of a degree, can transition into the officer corps, right? I'm not saying that it's advantageous to get your degree first and then join. It all depends on the situation. I just wanted to stay in shape, right? Of course, cheap beer is always
yes.
an important aspect of that. Don't.
Sorry, guy.
But yeah, it's always the benefits, really, and take advantage of the GI Bill.
Oh, geez. We got a call
Okay.
coming in. Let's find out. Hold on 1 second. Havaday, this is Brad. Thanks for calling the show. Who's this?
This is Piling.
Piling. This is Piling Gazette. Can you hear with the, or do you want to put that on? Hold on 1 second, Piling. All right. So on the phone, you're here. You've got Piling Gazetmo from Saipan, but he's in Guam now. So we can hear you, and you're on the line with us on the show and the Secretary of Public Works.
Yeah, good morning to you, Brad, and Ray.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So I just want to throw in maybe it's a suggestion or what, but I don't know the planning or the situation with Texas Road. That road used to, from Suzuki, from CK, back road, behind our building, you can actually exit out to Middle Road. But I know there's private properties there before you reach Olia Elementary School. Are those roads under easement already? Are they public road already? If so, Ray, what do you think about opening up that road to cut down on the congestion on Beach Road? It's just a suggestion, because I don't know if those private landowners there are still private. But what do you think? Huh?
Okay, thank you for that question. Yes, that Texas road, by design, of course, would have connected Susupi through Oliai to make its way to as a secondary roadway for traffic. But the family that controls the property, we have not been able to sit down with them to discuss the possibility of acquiring the property through either a direct purchase or through a land exchange. And I respect the family's wishes. We don't want to intrude on them. If everyone has a right to quiet enjoyment of their respective properties. But if they're willing to come in and sit down with us to negotiate how we can purchase that property, I am more than willing to sit down with them and look at options so that we can take care of them. Under the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway regulations, if we were to go in to acquire the property, we have to make sure that the property that we're acquiring, for example, if there's a structure on it, there's a home and families are living there, we have to also provide not just land compensation, but we have to provide a home for these folks. We can't just buy the property out and say, hey, build yourself your own home. But we have to provide for that. So there are strict requirements with regards to how the government acquires property, right?
Yeah. We have to respect the landowners. But let me, if I can throw in this other one with the issue with the Ogo family up on Stanford Road in San Vicente. So about those families.
Yes.
Any update or
Yes.
Wait, peeling. He did talk about that. Why did you get to the show so late? You break my heart now. I'm crying inside.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I came in late.
Hey, that's a problema.
Those people, maybe Ray, you can try and help those families. And if that's the case, that's a public access already. Maybe you can try something and try and help those families.
Well, absolutely. Like what Brad was saying, we did discuss this earlier in the show. I did brief Governor Arnold Palacios and Lieutenant Governor David Apatang on the matter. They're fully aware of where we are at today. I'm encouraging the family to come into DPW and DPL so that we can sit down and continue the where we had left off, because like I mentioned, the family did sign agreements back in 2001, I believe, that started the process of land compensation. The governor, then former Governor Pete Tenorio, also acknowledged that fact. And as I can't answer for why the process stopped back then, over 20 years ago, but here we're willing to restart it so we can get them their just compensation, definitely.
But in reality, it's not really you guys' fault with public works. But in reality, that's the job of Department of Public Land.
Yeah.
No?
I don't disagree with you.
Public land, Department of Public Land, they make people wait for the longest time. It happened to my grandma on the land in Rosa. We won it at court. My grandma won that in court. They valued the land and they did everything. But the government, on the government side, they always have to wait when there's no money in the government, and then they come around when there's no money and they try and offer a settlement for the less amount, not matching the value of the land. But more power to you, Ray, and keep beautifying our road. But yeah, it's not a Department of Public Works to be mostly blamed on that issue. It has to go to the Department of Public Land too, and even to our sitting congressmen and senators and whoever that are in charge and can do something. Oh, they're also to blame. But they have to pay accordingly.
Of course.
That's all. I just want to share that.
Well, thank you
It's
for
from
that.
my heart to your heart to the cinema's heart. I love you guys.
Hey, we
you. I
love
love
you
you all.
too. Thanks for calling and thanks for always watching.
Have a
Really
good day.
appreciate it. Have a great day. All right, that's Piling Gazetmo, one of our favorites over there. Now, I've had you on here forever. I'm going to let you go because not only do you have like a whole department to run, but we've got a meeting with our new representative, Kimberly King Hines. She's meeting with the veterans groups. And that was one of the things I was going to get to with you, too, is let you know that we've got the Project Buddy Check 670 guys.
Yes, that's a great program.
Yep, and so we're meeting with them and with VFW, with our rep. Before we let you go, anybody you want to acknowledge, shout outs or anything?
Well, of course, shout outs, of course, to Department of Public Works staff. Without them, I won't be able to do my job as effectively and efficiently. We're not perfect department, but we're doing our best to correct a lot of some issues that had been lagging to the side. Some of them that we discussed. So, of course, I'd like to once again thank them for that. Of course, our contractors that have been working with us. So far, things are still moving along, and I encourage them to keep up the good work as well. And then, of course, to the community, most especially to you guys for giving us your patience, because these types of road construction activities, they're not easy to work on when we have the community also sharing the project site. You got to drive on the road, but we also have to repair it. So we thank you for your continued patience. The road will be done. We're on the final stretch, as you'd say, football terms. We're down to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
We have a few more months for these guys to start wrapping things up. All the major digging has been completed. We just have 2 more spots that the contractor is working on the north and south tip. The anti-skid is being laid now. Just so that the reason why we haven't turned the traffic lights back on is because the paving in that area needs to be of a different type of design. The mix is much more resilient because this is where vehicles normally start to slow down, right? So that friction, if the asphalting and the anti-skid is not of a stronger mix, it will, in essence, rub off. So that's going to be the last paving. But again, it'll be very minor. Once that's done, we'll restore the magnetic strips so that the sensors will be back to operational status, so that it'll sense vehicles and you'll get the lights turned in your favor as traffic resumes. So just to put that out there. But otherwise, the clock's ticking.
All right, last real quick question, then we're done. I promise.
Sure.
You mentioned the magnetic strips, and it made me think about riding a motorcycle. Now I know you like motorcycles also.
Yes.
Do you put anything on the bottom of your motorcycle to help trigger those kind of things? Because there's not a whole lot of weight to the bikes, right? So like to trigger those things at the intersections. I know I've been waiting for a car to pull up behind me sometimes.
Well, thanks for that question. I'm going to bring that up to my highway guys that manages the traffic signals, the system. So I'm going to ask them if they can tweak the system to pick up motorcycles. But yes, you're right. It's magnetic. So the bulkier the bike, more metal, right? It'll sense it if the motorcycle, for example, is hybrid or it has a lot of non-ferrous material like graphite, right? Special plastics. Of course, it's the sensor
be
won't pick
harder,
it up.
yeah.
It'll be harder. So that is a challenge. I will get you an answer, Brad. Thanks for that question.
I just the real answer: just get a bigger bike. You know, that's get that iron is not going to be enough. You got to go out and get yourself. Well, they don't make Dynas anymore, so whatever the new ones are. All right. Well, I want to say thanks for coming in, and I promise next time we won't keep you as long. But I hope it was great for you to come in here because I loved it.
Anytime. I mean, we still have other road projects that we haven't even touched on. Maybe the next time you invite me back, we can talk about Route 36. Got some exciting news about that.
All right. And we'll try to cap it at 30 minutes next time. Does that sound like a better deal?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And don't forget Road and Tin. We also have projects there that we gotta talk about.
Yeah, how about that road up to Sabana? I mean, like that would be a heck of a road, right?
That would be a good project as well because the communication systems up there and their lookout.
So, by the way, so Luisa said, Brad, you just have to wave at the light and flash your lights. That's how that'll work. All right. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Hey, all you guys, what we're going to do, we're going to use this as our way of wrapping up for the show today, too. Only because in 15 minutes, we've got the meeting with Representative King Hines, who's going to be meeting with all of us representatives. I want to say thanks to Secretary Ray Umel for being in studio with us and helping us learn more about what's going on. And we're going to have you come back, and we won't keep you as long. That's a solid hour. That is a solid hour. That's how fast it went. I hope it was easy.
As long as it's informative to the community, I will be here as long as it takes. I want to be able to apprise the community of what's going on with the department. It's something that the governor and lieutenant governor had pushed out in our cabinet meetings that we want to be able to put information out so that the community at large is aware of what is going on in this administration.
Well, and you did it today, and we really appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. And less time. We won't keep you as long next time. Sure. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back again. Remember, tune in tonight because we've got SIP Happens, Marianas Business Network. They're going to be in here, and they're going to be enjoying some beverages. I'll be on the other side of the camera, just hanging out, producing the show. But hopefully we'll see you, and we'll hear more about what's going on. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tonight, 6 o'clock. Have a great day.